So we're looking at incorporating 3D animations into live action. And rather than use video, we're going to use JPEGs, but you can imagine that these would just be a video with the camera locked off. Because when the camera moves, then all of what we're going to discuss now gets moved into the motion tracking domain. But for now, we're just looking at simple ways to bring something like a piece of text along what looks like a surface with geometry, so it goes from this table to this table, and it does it in a way that makes it look like it could be in that world being shot by that camera, because you'll see that it's also giving the appearance that it's coming in behind the ketchup bottle and the condiments. So to do this, you need to incorporate cameras. So without a camera, this just looks like text coming from the distance into the foreground in Z space. But when we add a camera, the camera is positioned in such a way that it matches the camera's angle as it would have taken the original shot. So when both cameras match up, the virtual camera and the real camera, it makes everything look as if it were shot on the same camera. So to do this, we have to work with cameras, and we also have to work in what's called Draft 3D. So Draft 3D allows you to get a ground plane, and it allows you to get these grid lines that show you the perspective on which your animations are happening, or more accurately, on how the camera is capturing your animations as happening. So Draft 3D, you'll notice it's a draft because it doesn't actually render any of the effects or the masks or anything like that. It's just to give you a quick view on your text to make sure that the geometry of your text animation as it's being recorded by the camera, the virtual camera, matches the geometry of the underlying clip, in this case the JPEG. Now you have a couple of things here as well. You can switch on and off the ground plane, which is the grid I just mentioned, and you can have what's called an extended viewer, which allows you to extend the ground plane off beyond the actual image itself. Okay, so this is very much how 3D software works and the 3D environment in After Effects when you get to the point of incorporating cameras. So that's without the camera and then with the camera. So let's have a quick look in two views where that camera is positioned. So you can see the camera there, it's kind of points up and it's pointing down, just like the original camera was. This is in left view. If we go into front view, you'll see that again, it's kind of pointing down, matching or mimicking the angle of the original camera that would have shot this scene. So I will go back into one view and pop into another clip here. This one really kind of hammers the point home in that it shows an image with the vanishing point, the horizon line in there graphically, and we can see that we have a couple of objects grouped together in 3D with a 3D null object kind of pushing along that track. So again, without the camera, we're just seeing text moving, okay? And that is not giving us any sense of realism. It doesn't look like the text is part of that scene. So we add a camera, we move the camera to the point where the ground plane matches the geometry of the train tracks and the fields, and the horizon point of the ground plane matches the horizon line and vanishing point of the image. And that allows us to position cameras to make things look as if they were all shot at the same time. So that's an overview of how we incorporate 3D elements into live action. And remember, we're looking at JPEGs. This could just as easily be a piece of video with the camera locked off on a tripod.